Hello, fellow temple and family history leaders and consultants. I'm going to do a little video here of a walkthrough how to log on and schedule a temple appointment. I'm going to go through this kind of quick the first time so that you can see it. And if you're, no longer interested in the rest, you can turn it off. Then I'm going to walk through the process again with a little more commentary. So you go to churchofjesuschrist.org to start out. And then once we're at churchofjesuschrist.org, you will need to log into your account. I have already logged in. Once you're logged in, you can go to this menu bar along the top of the screen. There's libraries, serve, living life, and about us. Click the serve drop-down menu button and go down to temples. Click on temples and it will bring you to the temple website. Now there's another a menu bar that says temples. Go to the right, there's find a temple, about temples, and attending the temple. So you click on attending the temple drop-down menu and you will go to appointments. Click on appointments. It will then bring you to the website where it asks you to select the temple you want to attend. I'm going to select the Las Vegas, Nevada temple. And then it will ask me which ordinance I want to perform. If I want to perform baptisms, I will click on baptism. Who'd have thunk? You tell it how many patrons you want to baptize. Let's say there's 2 young men. We'll say there's 2 young women. Let's say I'm going to be the only adult there as a baptizer, so there's 1. I will also be there to do confirmation. There's a 1. Let's say I'm going to bring my wife to help with the baptistry. There's a 1. Now you go to this select a date, and there's a calendar icon. If you click on the calendar icon, it pops up a window. Now, this window opens up this calendar that you can see is color coded. There's light blue, which indicates the temple is open, but there's no appointments for that ordinance available. Dark blue indicates there is availability. Now, I'll click on the 7th. That's the only one available right now, which is today. And there's a 4 p.m. session. So I'll click on the 4 p.m. availability. It'll bring me to the finalized screen. Now, this error code I'm getting is because I have already scheduled an appointment to do baptism, so I can only schedule one at a time. Later on, I'll explain that a little better. I'm going to go ahead and do don't schedule. Let's go back to the previous screen where I select the temple, and I'm going to select a different ordinance. I'm going to select proxy endowment. Once I'm at this point, if I want to bring my spouse with me to the temple, I'm going to click add spouse to appointment. Same as the baptistry, I click on the little calendar icon. It will tell me the days that are available. I can see there are a lot of dark blues here, so there's a lot of availability. Let's say I want to go on Thursday the 23rd. I click on that. It tells me which times are available. You'll see it tells you a session available and how many seats are open. 9 a.m., there are 29 seats. 3 p.m., 31 seats. So I want to go at 5 p.m. I will click on that. I will read through this, click the appropriate boxes, click saying I will not, go to the temple with COVID symptoms, and I schedule my appointment. At this point, it will allow me to add this to my calendar, which is really a nice option. But because I'm going to delete this appointment, I'm not going to add it to my calendar. Click done, and that's it. Now, if you want to delete an appointment, it's the same process. You just get to this point again and then delete your appointment. Please, if you can't make an appointment, delete your appointment. There's plenty of people that want to go to the temple. There's a good chance that somebody wants to go at your time, and if you don't utilize that time, that's bad form. So please, if you can't make an appointment for whatever reason, cancel it. So again, I'm going to cancel this Thursday, the 23rd appointment. Go to the action drop-down menu button and delete appointment. And delete it. That's all there is to it. So now I'm going to go through it a little bit slower. I'm going to walk through the entire process one more time. And if you want, follow along. I've got some commentary about each of these steps. Again, go to churchofjesuschrist.org. You log in, go to serve, click that drop-down menu, go to temples. Once you're on this website, go on the second menu bar to attending the temple, that drop-down menu. And you'll notice here, this is a great website. There's really a lot of additional information about the temple here. But you'll notice it says prayer roll under appointments. Now, there's a lot of people I don't think are aware of this, but you can now go on to the church website, log into your account, and submit a name to be placed on the prayer roll in the temple. Before you had to go to the temple to do that, or call in, and so that's a really neat upgrade that I think not enough people are aware of. So again, go to appointments. Now, up until pretty recently, during the COVID shutdowns, we could only attend the temple within our district. That's been opened up pretty recently, and so now I can actually attend temples outside of my district, certain temples, ones that are that are open and operating within that frame, that framework. Also, people outside of our temple district can now schedule appointments at our temple. The important thing to keep in mind is no one could attend the temple without a schedule, right? Without an appointment, and there's really kind of no exception to that unless you're attending with the group as part of a live ordinance. But in order to get into the temple, you must have an appointment. The best way to do that is online. So I'm going to select the Las Vegas, Nevada temple, which again is going to be default for me because of my when I log in. Now, if I go to proxy baptisms, again, I'm gonna run through this pretty quick. This is all pretty straightforward, but like I said, I've been going with my boys, so we take two young men, actually no women, as the baptizer. Like this says, it wants us to bring as much priesthood as we can. If you have one priesthood holder who can baptize and do confirmations, that's really enough. Like I said, I go with my sons, and it's not an issue at all. And what's really nice about the baptistry right now is, about the temple right now, is when I go to the baptistry, there's an hour set aside for me, right, for my appointment. I'm not going to get pushed out by somebody else. I can't go long, right? And I go in there, and that time is for my boys and I really like that. Now, I don't want to speak out of turn here because really it depends on the temple when you get there. But generally, I find that if I don't bring names to the temple, they're limited to giving us one sheet of names. I can only do 4 or 5 names. But if I bring family file names, if I print out family file names, bring them to the temple with me, I've got an hour to do baptisms. Generally, the workers there will let me do as many family file names that I've brought within that hour time frame as I can do. Again, please don't go in there and say, hey, Brother Downer said on a video that we can do this, right? Because it depends on, the policies often change. It depends on the workers that are down there. Generally, we find that that's the case, and so that's really nice. Again, a comment I want to make about this is, as I click on this calendar, you'll see that the 7th is the only one that's available right now. I've been trying to make this video for the last couple hours. I've done a couple different versions, and the 8th and the 9th and like the 16th were available. They are no longer available. So they've kind of, people have come on and scheduled. Now, originally, the very first time I looked at it, the 8th was unavailable, and then it became available, and now it's unavailable again. So what the church has done is they've updated this system. So you might have gone on a month or two ago and saw everything was booked, and so you think, you know what, I'm not going to go on until October because it showed there was no availability. Well, that's not necessarily the case anymore. That's kind of how it was happening at first, but there's also kind of this rumor going around that the temple only opens up appointments at the beginning of the month. Appointments get opened up constantly, every day throughout the day. If somebody deletes their appointment, that pops up immediately. The temple is doing what they can to make appointments more available, right? And so if you want to get to the temple, it doesn't hurt to get on and check regularly. Just get on and check. Check today, check tomorrow. Just keep checking until you find a time that works for you. But again, the important thing I want to get across is just because it was fully scheduled yesterday doesn't mean it's fully scheduled today. In fact, my wife scheduled an endowment for us like in October. The very next day, I went on and looked, and some had opened up it was Friday for that evening. So we actually went that evening. And so, again, appointments open up. Let people know that just because they looked previously doesn't mean there's nothing available. I'm going to go ahead and go back here. I'm going to now go to let's select the temple again. But I'm going to go to endowment. And I want to cover this because this little button right here, add spouse to appointment, gets missed quite a bit. It's easy to miss. You can schedule on your phone. The process to schedule on your smartphone or a tablet, right, is this exact same. It's very convenient, actually, if you have a good smartphone to schedule an appointment. In fact, you can stand outside the temple in the parking lot or even inside in the lobby, right, and schedule an appointment if there's one available. So it's simple. The church has made it really easy to do. But you want to add spouse to the appointment if you want to bring your spouse to the appointment. Now, this adds your spouse. It adds his or her name to a list. When you get to the temple, they check the names on the list. So I don't click this if I want to bring my brother or my father or a friend in the ward. If other people want to go at the same time that you want to go, you have to individually log on and schedule appointments. Unfortunately, there's not a way to schedule for a group unless you're doing an own live endowment, right? Outside of own live endowments, each person has to schedule for themselves, except you can add your spouse. Now, what that creates is kind of a little loophole where I can go on and schedule an appointment for my spouse and my spouse can go on and schedule an appointment for her and I. And so we can kind of get two appointments. But outside of that, you can only schedule, I'll back up again, you can only schedule one appointment for each ordinance at a time. So again, there's baptism, initiatory, endowment, and sealing. So I can go on today and I can schedule a baptism appointment, initiatory appointment, endowment appointment, and a sealing appointment. But I can't schedule two baptism appointments. I have to either delete my original baptism appointment if I'm going to create a new one, or I have to wait until the time has elapsed for that appointment. So that appointment time has to come and go. It has to pass. So I'm on October 1st at like 8 a.m. So if I go baptism's on October 1st, 8 a.m. When I come out of the temple at 9 a.m., I can then go on the computer and schedule a new baptism appointment. Or again, I can delete that and schedule a new one. So back to, again, the one kind of loophole there, exception to that is I can schedule a proxy endowment with my wife. She can schedule one for me. So I add spouse to the appointment. It's the same. You do the calendar icon. You'll see these are all dark blue, meaning there's availability on all of these days for September, for October, right through November. There's a lot of availabilities for own endowments. Also for initiatory and for sealings, those are wide open constantly. So now, endowments aren't necessarily wide open, right? There's not necessarily every day, every session availability, but you'll see that every day there is availability. So you just click on here and see what works for you. You'll notice today there's a Spanish language session available at 7 with 15 seats available. Tomorrow, there's quite a few sessions with a few seats available. Now, let's say I wanted to schedule with a group of people, like we were saying, and we want to go in the evening. Now, if there's 10 of us that want to go, and I'm looking at this, I'm not going to click at the 6 o'clock session, correct? Because there's only 3 seats available. I'm probably going to go earlier, like the 24 seats available at 3 o'clock, or I'm going to pick a different day. Because each of us has to go on independently on our own computers or smartphones or log in and log out of the same computer, right? And in order to schedule that appointment. And sometimes these fill up quickly. So I'm going to find like this 4 p.m. with 30 seats available on the 15th. So if I'm going to go with the group, I'm going to schedule something like that. So again, I've clicked add my spouse to the appointment because I want to take her. Remember, you can't take somebody else with that. That's only your spouse. I'm going to click on the 4 p.m. session. Again, walk through this process and then schedule the appointment. So that's all pretty straightforward, pretty simple. That's really mostly what I wanted to discuss in this video. I do want to add that this is a great opportunity to help all the members in our units get church logins. I think in fact, I know a lot of people in our stake still do not have church logins. It's easy to do. All you need is your date of birth and your record number, and your record number is on your temple recommend. So if you're trying to schedule an appointment for the temple, you have a recommend. The record number is on that recommend. So if you're with somebody who, elderly or for some other reason is not real comfortable with, technology, you can help them set up a church account. You can help them schedule an appointment. The church, at least our temple, prefers we don't call. If you do call to set an appointment, they will do what they can to help you out. But sometimes the phones up there are busy. Uh, Really, the easiest way to do is to go online. It's simple, it's efficient. And again, this helps us to encourage people to get church accounts, um, which our leadership, our stake presidency, really has been pushing. Wants everybody to get, a church account. So, a good opportunity to go out and minister, a good excuse to minister, to make sure that people are aware of these few things. One, we can schedule temple appointments online. Two, there are temple appointments available. Again, I think there's a real belief right now that there are no appointments available and that they only become available on the first of the month. That's a fallacy, and as I think I've shown. So please get that message out. Let people know, if they want to get to the temple, there are openings at the temple. And as I had mentioned before, um, if baptisms gets full, because baptism is kind of like the thing that gets the fullest, there are endowment opportunities. There's also initiatory opportunities, quite a bit. See, these are all open. That's for today. All these blues, see, these all have openings. So there's lots of initiatory appointments open, as well as proxy sealing appointments. Lots are open constantly. And so, I got to tell it how many people I want to go. Seeing there's constantly openings. So let people know that those, there's openings at the temple. All right, I've rambled a lot. Thank you for taking the time. Please let me know if you have any questions or need any help, need some hands-on training. You want me to come to your unit and, do some training on this? Happy to help any way I can. All right, thank you, brothers and sisters. Have a good